it in motion. On the first third down, they bring 4. Sanders, quick throw underneath. And Sanders loads up with a tangled mess.
All right, I was a Shedeur guy over a Dillon Gabriel guy. I watched Shedeur run for his life at Colorado, and he was really productive. Are you surprised that Shedeur is backing up Dillon Gabriel?
I actually listened to your last segment, and I agree with you that the coach of the Browns, stepped out and said, "I'm going to pick this quarterback, Dillon Gabriel, in the 3rd round, and then, by the way, Shedeur is still available. We'll take him." Unless it was obvious, I think that, I think you're right. I think the coach of the Browns said, I put my name on him, and I'm going to give him an opportunity first.
Urban Meyer couldn't mask it. The moment Shedeur Sanders' name came up with Colin Cowherd, the smirk, the shrug, the subtle digs, it all reeked of insecurity. Here's a coach who flamed out in the NFL trying to dismiss a rookie already displaying composure beyond seasoned quarterbacks. Analysts can keep lumping Shedeur in as just another rookie, but fans aren't fooled. They see the difference, and they're already demanding he start, because he looks like the answer they've been waiting on for years.
Going on, world. So your boy Shedeur Sanders will be playing on Saturday against the Rams. Whether he starts or not, it doesn't look like it. Kevin Stefanski said I think they're going to be going with Joe Flacco, leading up to the season, because now it's time to prep him since he's going to be the starting quarterback. Urban Meyer's beloved coach, college coach, said they did Shedeur dirty. He said what he's seen out of Shedeur in college, he's an elite quarterback.
If you're enjoying, please subscribe Shedeur Sanders to the channel. It helps more than you think. Here's the truth. Analysts like Meyer, and even Cowherd, carry a built-in bias when it comes to rookies, especially those who don't fit the old-school blueprint they cling to. They brush Shedeur off as just another overhyped prospect destined to be humbled by the league. But that assumption is their mistake. Shedeur isn't following their tired script. He's not chasing approval through interviews or trying to live off hype alone. He's rewriting the narrative in real time. And that's what makes him dangerous to his critics. Because instead of talking himself up, Shedeur is doing the one thing they can't dismiss. He's proving his worth on the field, letting his game expose how outdated their takes really are.
It sounds to me like it was real close. I also heard that part of your comments. So if it's real close, they're going to go with the guy that they spent all the time evaluating, drafting, and they don't want to be wrong. But they also have to win. So if Shedeur gets better and better, which I think we all agree he will, at some point, you could see that move happening.
I saw Michigan recently got some penalties, and you and I probably see this differently. The way I look at college football is that it used to be the sin in college sports was buying a high school player. That was death penalty. It's over. I mean, $100 handshake for a senior, you get slapped on the wrist. You can't buy a high schooler. Well, now that's just it's a cottage industry. That's what you do. You buy high school.
Urban Meyer, the same coach who imploded in record time with the Jacksonville Jaguars, has no standing to criticize how a rookie carries himself. The irony practically writes itself. Meyer couldn't even stumble through a single NFL season without controversy, dysfunction, and humiliation trailing behind him. Shedeur Sanders, by contrast, hasn't even logged a full season, yet just hearing his name makes analysts uneasy. Why? Because they can't pin him down. They'd love to dismiss him as nothing more than a kid benefiting from a famous last name. They'd love to shove him into the overplayed category of flashy college quarterback who won't adapt to the NFL. But Shedeur refuses to cooperate. Each time he takes the field, he dismantles that tired narrative and forces critics to rethink everything they thought they knew.
I thought he was a solid B prospect, crazy accurate, bad offensive line in college, no run game, and against good teams was always productive without a lot of mistakes. And yet he slid to the 5th round. And there's an argument. I don't know, 6th or 7th rounder undrafted, if not for Jimmy Haslam, the impulsive and meddling Cleveland owner. So how he is viewed by the NFL and the professionals there, who I respect and trust, and how he's viewed by everybody else, it's an incredible gap.
And Colin Cowherd, for all his polish and big stage delivery, shows the same cracks. He'll toss Shedeur a compliment, only to undercut it seconds later. It's the oldest play in sports media: build a guy up just enough to seem fair, then hedge with a dismissive jab so if he fails, you can claim you saw it coming. But here's the problem: fans aren't falling for it anymore. They're watching closer than ever, and they see Shedeur for what he really is, a quarterback showing poise, leadership, and maturity that can't be manufactured.
You guys who love Shedeur in Carolina wearing his jerseys, you're making him into a celebrity. So if I'm a coach and I have to choose, okay, Joe Flacco's starting, Dillon Gabriel may be easier to deal with. You don't have to deal with the nonsense.
Let me show you something, in case you forgot. Because one thing we can always depend on is a temperamental, tantrum-throwing white man to get on this app, barely be able to pay his tithes, yet fix his lipo lips to talk about greatness.
While everyone else is running their mouths, Shedeur stays quiet. He doesn't waste time clapping back at Meyer. He doesn't throw shade at Cowherd. He doesn't have to. His answer comes on the field, with every snap that proves the doubters wrong. That's real maturity. From a rookie, not chasing headlines, not begging for approval, but letting his play do the talking. And the approach is working. You can already feel the momentum shifting, and critics are starting to squirm.
The Browns coaching staff must hate this dude, Shedeur Sanders. The guy had a pretty solid preseason debut.
No turnovers, he protected
The ball, and he made some pretty great passes for touchdowns. Shedeur did not look like a 5th-round QB in that game at all. And then this dude Dillon Gabriel proceeds
to throw 2 turnovers
in his preseason debut. But we already know they're going to continue to keep him as the last QB on the depth chart. But I have a theory. What if this is all part of the Browns' grand plan? What if, no matter how good he plays in the preseason, they keep him at the end of the depth chart? But they do it so that they can light a fire under him. We've seen that he's the first one at practice and the last one out of practice. So him getting drafted in the 5th round already lit a fire under him. That's why he's been working so hard. And they continue to keep him at the end of the depth chart so that he could keep working hard. And he could be like, oh, they don't believe me? Bet, I'ma show them.
Fans are loud about this. Scroll through social media after Shedeur takes the field, and you'll see Browns supporters flooding timelines with one consistent demand: let him start. People don't want him buried at QB4. They don't want him stuck behind placeholders. They're seeing something analysts refuse to admit. Shedeur has the tools. He has the composure. And more importantly, he has the trust of the fans already. That's not normal for rookies. That's something you earn through talent and presence, not hype clips. The disrespect, though, has been relentless. Every panel show, every analyst table, you hear it. Shedeur is being measured by a harsher scale than others, and that's where the jealousy from guys like Meyer shines through. Because Meyer doesn't just see Shedeur. He sees a reminder of his own failure, of the fact that the NFL doesn't reward coaches who act like kings, and that sometimes a rookie can come in and command more respect than a veteran coach ever did.
Urban Meyers said that it had to be something else because the tape says one thing, and it must have been the interviews because the tape says elite quarterback. The national television program in Colorado says elite quarterback. Let's see what happens with Shedeur this weekend. I think he's going to play lights out for whatever amount of reps he takes. He may take 10 reps. He may take 20 reps. He may do a whole quarter. What if they shock everybody?
And Colin Cowherd? He thrives on controversy. He wants his takes to stir reaction, but when it comes to Shedeur, the safe dismissals sound more like insecurity. Fans are noticing. Analysts are cracking jokes about Shedeur while the very people who watch the games are saying enough is enough. Give him the ball. Give him the team. The Browns fanbase, especially, isn't subtle. After seeing Shedeur in camp, after watching his composure, there's a wave of support building that analysts can't drown out. These aren't casual fans either. They see someone who doesn't panic under pressure, who doesn't fold under criticism, and who looks like he's been in the league longer than a few months. But jealousy is a powerful thing, and Urban Meyer's comments made it obvious. You don't scoff at a rookie unless you feel threatened by what he represents.
Ocho, this is what ED said. This is his full quote. I tell you this much. What I heard from someone that's in the NFL, that the NFL told teams, don't draft him. Do not draft him. We're going to make an example out of him. And this came from a very good source. A very good source. But apparently, Shedeur had fallen much further than anticipated, and some league officials called the Browns and forced them to take him with the 144th overall pick.
And Shedeur represents change. He represents a shift away from the old guard of football gatekeepers telling fans who they should respect and who they should ignore. The people have decided on their own, and they've decided they want Shedeur. The funny part? The more they disrespect him, the stronger the fan push becomes. Every analyst who writes him off only adds fuel to the movement calling for him to start. It's a reverse effect that's playing out in real time. By trying to hold him down, they're making his rise inevitable. These aren't the traits of someone who needs years on the bench. These are the traits of someone who can lead an offense now. And the Browns, of all teams, should know better than to waste that.
If he would have fallen to the 7th round, the Steelers weren't drafting Shedeur Sanders.
Why?
Shedeur Sanders was not going to be picked by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Whatever the evaluation was, whatever decision was made, he was not going to be the quarterback picked, drafted, called by Mike Tomlin.
Because of talent?
That's just further evidence, something other than football tainted Shedeur Sanders coming into that draft. Because there's no excuse for him to fall that low. And there's no reason why on earth why a franchise like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who's been starving to find a quarterback for years, Ryan Clark could come up here and say, even if it was the 7th round, they still wouldn't have picked him. That makes no football sense.
What I heard from someone that's in the NFL, that the NFL told other, don't draft him. Do not draft him. We're gonna make an example out of him. And this came from a very good source, And he said that, I won't say who, somebody called the Cleveland Browns and said, don't do that. Draft
Really?
him. Yep, draft him. Don't do that. Because they weren't going to draft him either. They weren't going to draft him.
Shedeur Sanders is the kind of rookie who flips a franchise's fortune. But first, he has to get past the talking heads who are desperate to box him in. Urban Meyer can laugh. Colin Cowherd can downplay. But when the stadium fills up, and when fans chant for Shedeur to take the field, those same critics are going to have to eat their words. Because respect isn't given in the NFL. It's taken. And Shedeur Sanders is already taking it. The louder the analysts dismiss Shedeur, the more glaring their double standards become. Because let's be honest, if another rookie quarterback had come in with his numbers, his command, and his confidence, they'd already be calling him the face of a franchise. That's where the maturity stands out. Shedeur doesn't bite. He doesn't play their game. While Urban Meyer sits on a desk reminiscing about college glory days that feel like a decade ago, Shedeur is putting in the real work.
He came up, he was like, nah, bro, that wasn't at you. I see how they trying to spin. I'm like, oh, all right. I'm not tripping, regardless of whatever it was. Nobody's words or anything affects me, you know? So, yeah.
Did you believe him when he told you it wasn't on you?
Did I believe him? Yeah. I mean, I feel like you're trying to start stuff now. I feel like you're trying to start stuff. I mean, he's doing his job. He's supposed to. Do I feel like he did? I don't know. And that's not on me to sit here and be like, oh, he did, he didn't. That's not going to change my life in any way.
While Colin Cowherd strings together another monologue about why he isn't convinced yet, Shedeur is quietly earning respect from teammates in the locker room. And let's be clear, in the NFL, that's where it matters most. Teammates know who can play and who can't. You can't fake it around them. When offensive linemen start going to coaches saying, "This kid can lead," that's when you know it's real. And from all accounts, that's already happening in Cleveland. But fans are the ones cutting through the noise the fastest. The Browns haven't exactly been a franchise overflowing with stability at quarterback. They're not just hyping another rookie out of boredom. They're pointing to tangible qualities: composure, accuracy, toughness, and presence. Scroll through Browns fan forums after every preseason outing, and you'll see it. Fans aren't saying, "Maybe one day he'll be ready." They're saying, "Why not now?" And the more pushback they get from national analysts, the louder those fans become.
Hello, Bugs. So they just announced it. Yes, Shedeur is playing this weekend. Let's get into it. So we're not at all surprised at that little sneak drop yesterday with Shedeur in practice. So we were really anticipating that they were going to announce it, and yes, they have announced that Shedeur is going to be playing Game 3, the preseason finale for Cleveland. And I think this is so apropos because it's a segue to...
You've got callers on sports radio blasting hosts for disrespecting Shedeur. You've got entire threads trending on social media demanding he get a real shot at QB1. That's not normal hype. That's a grassroots movement of a fanbase tired of waiting for what they already see in front of them. And this is where Urban Meyer's jealousy shines. Here's a man who couldn't command an NFL locker room, who lost players within weeks, who was caught in scandals off the field, and who became a punchline in record time. Colin Cowherd, on the other hand, lives in the gray area. He wants to sound objective. He'll sprinkle in some praise but always hedge his bets. He'll say Shedeur looks good, but then he'll remind viewers he's improving. It's safe analysis designed to keep him right no matter what happens.
Point is, look, what someone says is not going to impact, doesn't make me better, doesn't make me worse, what somebody has to say. I still have to go out there and do my job. And when given the opportunity, that's exactly what I'll do.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
he's been going through this for a minute, huh? This ain't the first time somebody has something to say about him. They've been digging at him for a long time. He's been prepared for this. He's been prepared.
Yeah, but normally the people that's taking shots at me ain't on my team. That'd be like the team. We a family here.
If Shedeur succeeds, he'll point to the compliments. If Shedeur struggles, he'll point to the doubts. Fans see through this. That's why Cowherd's takes are being roasted online. People are tired of hearing someone sit on the fence when they can clearly see which way the wind is blowing. What's more, Shedeur has shown something that rookies rarely do: patience with the process while still quietly demanding results through his play. He's not rattled by being listed at QB4. He's not sulking. Instead, he's treating every snap like it's his chance to prove a point. That kind of approach doesn't just impress fans, it forces coaches to take notice. The fans want him. The teammates believe in him. Even rival fan bases are beginning to admit he looks like the real deal. But the analysts? They're holding out, and the more they do, the more ridiculous they look. It's only a matter of time before the Browns coaching staff feels the pressure.
Shedeur has had really one, I thought it was a good performance. It wasn't lights out. It's like he went out there and threw for 400 yards. I mean, he had a nice, solid preseason debut. I'd say it's a B+. It wasn't perfect. I mean, not every throw was perfect, but he did a nice job. And the thing that we can say about it is he didn't fall flat on his face. You know, he looked like he belonged. He looked like an NFL quarterback. The numbers were fine. Threw a couple of touchdown passes, which were really nice throws. I mean, he made some baller throws in that game. Yeah, I mean, he did. So I came away from the game very impressed. But like, there's nothing that he did there that's going to make me think that he could be the starting quarterback week 1.
No, I didn't want.
Or even did that even earn him the right to be the backup?
Imagine being Kevin Stefanski right now. On one hand, you've got analysts telling you Shedeur isn't ready, and on the other hand, you've got an entire fanbase chanting for him and a locker room leaning in his direction. The noise is deafening. And it's only going to grow louder every week Shedeur shows flashes of brilliance. Because when the fans start chanting a rookie's name in the stadium, it's game over for the depth chart politics. Coaches eventually have to give in. The Browns, more than most franchises, should understand this. Of course, analysts like Meyer and Cowherd will frame it as reckless. They'll say he's not ready, that you don't throw a rookie into the fire too soon. But ask the fans in Cleveland, and they'll tell you they've been in the fire for decades. They're done waiting.
Sanders will return to the field tomorrow as the Browns face the Rams in their preseason finale. Now, after a promising outing in Game 1 versus the Panthers, Shedeur was sidelined for Game 2 due to an oblique injury. In one game, though, Shedeur went 14 for 23 with 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, Canty, I heard you say Jackson Dart's your quarterback, but who will start more games this season, Shedeur or Dart?
I'm going to go with Shedeur Sanders because the New York Giants, from an organizational standpoint, seem committed to making sure that Jackson Dart gets a lot of seasoning before they put him into regular season.
If Shedeur is the guy who can change the story, why delay it? And you know what's really funny? The more analysts talk down Shedeur, the more they're setting themselves up to be clowned when he proves them wrong. Every dismissive comment will be replayed. Every smug laugh will become a meme. That's the beauty of the NFL spotlight. Once you doubt someone in public, you can't walk it back without receipts being pulled. And Shedeur has all the motivation he needs to make those receipts painful. Because the real story isn't whether Shedeur will get a chance. It's when. And when that moment comes, every pass he completes will feel like a dagger in the narrative Meyer and Cowherd are trying to build. Every touchdown will sound like silence from the doubters. Every win will feel like vindication for the fans who saw it coming before the analysts did. This is the story of a rookie who isn't waiting for permission to be great. Shedeur Sanders is not just another rookie. He's the quarterback the Browns have been waiting for. And no amount of analyst jealousy can change that. And what makes this whole situation even more delicious is the way the narrative is slowly turning against the very analysts who tried to bury him. Urban Meyer thought he could throw shade and move on, but the clip of him looking dismissive whenever Shedeur's name came up is being replayed with commentary roasting him for his own failures.
All right, black and white sports reporters. Well, I swear to you, I was not making another Browns video today. I had a New York Giants Jackson Dart video all lined out, had all my ducks in a row, just about to hit record when the Cleveland Browns done went and did this. They have announced their unofficial depth chart, and this is per the ClevelandBrowns.com website for their third preseason game versus the Rams. And to tell you that the Browns fandom, more specifically the Shedeur Sanders fandom, is crashing out on a new level. And I got to tell you, right now, this QB2 situation is a joke.
Fans are laughing at the irony of a man who couldn't last one season in the NFL trying to downplay a rookie who's already showing more promise than Meyer's entire Jacksonville experiment. The hypocrisy writes itself, and people aren't letting it go. Colin Cowherd's careful hedging isn't aging much better either. Every time he tries to balance his takes, fans jump on it. They've gotten smart to the pattern, calling it cowherding, the art of being half right no matter what happens. And with Shedeur, that tactic looks weaker than ever. Because this isn't a case of a rookie with flashes and flaws. This is a rookie whose calm under pressure makes the so-called safe quarterbacks look rattled. The fans are saying what the analysts won't: Shedeur should be QB1. Not in 2 years. Not after some dragged-out grooming process.